Have you ever felt it? That sudden chill in a quiet room, the feeling of being watched when you know you are alone. We tell ourselves it is just the wind, a draft, the house settling, but a small primal part of us whispers a different story. It speaks of things that linger, things that remain long after the body has turned to dust. We are fascinated by these stories, are we not? Spirits trapped between worlds, unfinished business tying them to the places they once lived. We seek them out in old houses, abandoned asylums, hoping for a sign, a whisper, a touch. What if the ghosts we search for are not what we think? What if the echo in the empty room is our own minds? How do you build a ghost? You start not with chains or spectral light, but with a story, a life. The researchers of the Toronto Society for Psychical Research knew this. They understood their creation could not be a vague shadow. He needed to be a person. They decided on his name first. Philip Aylesford. Distinguished, aristocratic, a history with weight, entirely fabricated. They gave him a time and a place. An English noble in the era of Oliver Cromwell. A cavalier, danger and intrigue built in. Married to Dorothea, beautiful but cold. A political alliance, no love, no warmth. They imagined his lonely halls and echoing rooms. A face, a home, passions and secrets. And the forbidden love that would be his doom. Margot. Philip Aylesford, a life of quiet desperation. A royalist, devoted to King Charles II, living under Cromwell's shadow. Duty on his shoulders, judgment on the walls. His marriage, strategic, loveless, desolate. At dusk he escapes the cage. To Margot, warm, passionate, free-spirited. But secrets do not stay secret. Jealousy hardens into vengeance. She accuses Margot of witchcraft, guilty, death. Philip, powerless, watches the unthinkable. Anguish, guilt, despair. One morning, he throws himself from the highest tower. A life cut short. Love, betrayal, suicide. The ghost is born. This story, held tightly in their minds, would be the summoning spell. The year, 1972. The place, Toronto, Canada. An age of The Exorcist, and ESP research. A small serious circle formed the TSPR, led by Dr. A.R.G. Owen, with Iris Owen, his wife. An industrial designer, a sociologist, an accountant, and a student. Their goal was radical. Instead of chasing hauntings, they would control the variables. By inventing a ghost, contact could not be accidental. No history to latch onto. 8 minds as transmitters. And observers. Their minds were the laboratory, quantifying the creation of a ghost. Suspend disbelief. Build a gestalt. See if belief could make the walls talk. For a year, they met weekly. They meditated on his image, reviewed his life, spoke his name. Nothing. Silence. Still air. Frustration. A failed experiment, so it seemed. The method was too academic, too sterile. They emulated a Victorian seance. Atmosphere, expectation, feeling. They sang, coaxed, cajoled, spoke to him directly. They asked about a life they had already invented. Psychodrama became an engine, an emotional feedback loop. They believed he was real, there with them, not observation, willing it into existence. And then one night, the darkness finally began to stir. It began with a whisper, more a feeling than a voice. A subtle vibration ran through the wood. Then, one undeniable knock. Had it actually worked? They asked for another. And it came. A language was born. He loved Margot. He hated Dorothea. He despaired at his fate. The knocking became his voice. Then movement, slides, tilts, improbable balances, as if greeting newcomers. Light dimmed. A chill swept through. The climax, levitation. He had a presence, a personality. They had created a ghost. Or had they? What was happening in that room? Not the ghost of Philip Aylesford, they concluded. They had birthed a temporary collective personality. A psychic entity from shared energy, belief, and expectation. Real phenomena, living source. Group mind producing psychokinesis. Not a ghost. 8 intertwined minds. Philip was a mask, a focal point for latent ability. He had memories because they gave them. Answers from the collective unconscious. Projection and reflection. Belief reinforced power. Nothing started until ritual and drama unlocked their potential. Not proof of ghosts. Proof of minds shaping reality when convinced. The Philip experiment shook believers and skeptics. knocks, moving objects, levitation, under control. People were not lying or mad. Phenomena could be real, yet the source might be human. Hauntings, spirit, or the family's fear, stress, belief, adolescence, often poltergeist foci, turbulent energy, subconscious force. The source may be in the lounge, not the graveyard. A framework, group psychokinesis, study, replicate, understand as group psychology and latent ability. A bridge, not a debunking. Replications varied, questions remain, yet its legacy endures. Perhaps we are not just haunted by ghosts, we also create them. So, where does this leave us? In the half-light, listening for the inexplicable. Philip chills us, because it is about us. Our fears, our beliefs, our untapped potential. When we feel a presence, whose is it? A lingering soul, or our own shadow? Do we find haunted houses, or build them? Great emotion, sorrow, murder, stories stain a place. But perhaps the story itself is the engine. Without Philip's detailed life, Knox would be chaos. The story was the vessel. An operating system for a haunting. Storytelling, incantations, instructions, blueprints, paranormal and psychological blur. The result is the same. A bump, a movement, a gaze on your back.